Before I start today's review, I want to give a quick shout out to a fellow viewer of my videos this month by the name of Bryce Bonham. I want to say thank you for your support this month and watching my videos for the 31 Days of Fright. And what makes this shout out just a little bit more special is because I was forced to give you this shout out by a certain member of the law enforcement that we both just happened to know, and he wanted to bring this his attention to me that you've been watching my videos this month, and I just want to say thank you. And if you have any requests, please get a hold of me and I will do a video just for you. So thank you, Bryce, and here is a cheers to you.
Let's begin.
I am the one and only MSJ. You can call me Max for short, and welcome to day 10 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 8, and today's movie is Dolly Deadly, directed by Heidi Moore, which I got her autograph right on the front of the DVD case here because I got this movie in a horror pack subscription a while back, and this movie was always going to be on my list last year, but things just happened and I just never got around to watching it. This year I finally got around to watching it, and my initial reaction when the final credit rolled upon the screen was I really enjoyed it. This is an independent horror movie at its finest, and I really liked it because it has really cool effects in this movie. I commend this movie for using stop motion. I love stop motion, even though I wished I had a little bit more of it in the movie, but when it was used, it was done really well. I loved the crudeness of it. I just loved it. I cannot stress how much I love that. And another thing I loved about this movie is the cinematography. Just the opening shot of this movie is just a simple camera movement of the camera panning around this trailer, and it's just like, you know what, I'm hooked. For some reason, I was really hooked on this movie. Just a simple movement of the camera, and I was like, I'm into this film. So basically, the plot of this movie follows this kid named Benji who is living with his grandmother, and he's kind of the weird kid on the block because as he was an infant, his mom was killed in a freak hair dye accident where her scalp started to melt and her head kind of exploded. And so he's living with his grandmother now, and his grandmother really doesn't want nothing to do with him, and he's playing with dolls, and just, he's, like I mentioned, he's kind of the weird kid on the block, and the kids on the neighborhood are picking on him. Even his grandmother at one point in the movie almost nearly kills him, and just like his situation is just not very good because of the surrounding adults and kids, and where he's just wanting to have fun and play with the dolls around him, and in doing so, all this negative is kind of affecting his mental stability, and he's starting to think darker and darker thoughts until ultimately kind of backfires on all these people in a way. So I want to commend the, like I said, the special effects. There's a really cool Evil Dead moment in this movie where I really liked, there was a kind of a face melting scene. It works in the context of the movie, just kind of bear with me on that. But I really loved it. When I seen that, like, yes, I actually let out a yes, and I'm like, when I can like really letting out like verbiage and like sounds of when I'm watching a movie, that means a lot to me, and that's a high compliment. So I was really into this movie. So Heidi Moore, who directed this movie, she is hands-on in this movie. She was director of photography, director of the movie itself, special effects, and she was just like really hands-on in this movie, and I commend her for that, and I love this independent horror movie. I'm really into this. And there's a sequel to this movie. I really want to get a hold of that. But first, I need to buy me a new copy of this because I am a huge fan of DVD commentaries. And since I just opened this movie this year, today, probably about 10 minutes before watching the movie, I didn't realize it was damaged. And I'm like, oh man, because I actually had to go to Amazon Prime and finish the movie because it kind of started to kind of cut out towards the like 10-minute mark, the last 10 minutes of the movie. I'm like, oh crap. So I needed to rebuy this, but I'm still going to hold on to this copy just for the autograph alone. So I really enjoyed this movie. I do have a rating scale. It's 1, run-of-the-mill horror; 2, best watch with the group; 3, it's more than average horror but adds nothing new to the horror genre; 4, helps move the horror genre forward; and 5, being a horror classic. I think I'm going to give this another rare 4. This helps move the horror genre forward. This is like, these are the independent filmmakers who keep the horror genre alive. I know we have big budget horror movies like It and just whatever ones that The Purge and stuff like that, like the ones that would like are more mainstream, but these are the ones that I would like to watch. These are the movies that I would like when I was a kid. If I seen the cover of it at my local rental place, I would have picked it up. I really would have, because I love watching horror movies. And I mean, I love watching every independent movie in general is my favorite genre, and when you mix it with horror, it's my bread and butter. So that's really all I gotta say. This movie is not for everyone. I will admit that it's a little weird, but it's weird in a good way. And I probably should have watched this sooner. And that's probably my biggest regret, is I probably should have watched it faster than I shouldn't have sat on my shelf for so long. So that's really all I gotta say. Please click subscribe and hit the bell to stay notified for any future videos and more content that I will be making on this channel, and as well as to see what I'm going to be watching for the rest of this month for the 31 days of Fright. Now, that's really all I got to say. I can't get over this movie, so I'm just going to say goodbye and see you tomorrow.